The interesting thing about Sibenik is that the Polos are from here. The descendants of Polo come from Sibenik, which is one of the oldest places in Croatia. So think about that. The Polos were descended from here. Marco Polo's relatives are all here. And guess who else is here? The Polo sisters! We are in Rijeka. We're at the bus stop. We're getting ready to go to Sibenik. Sibenik! Yay! We were excited about our next leg of our adventure, but we were sad to say goodbye to our family and our friends. We had really enjoyed connecting with our family, and we couldn't believe how beautiful Slovenia was. And now here we are in Croatia. Hey, Adri, how are you doing with your fear of heights? In Croatia, the bus is king. This is the way to get around if you're on a tight budget. The route to Sibenik takes 7.5 hours from Rijeka. The bonus was we got to see the Dalmatian coast up close and personal. This was where our roots were. This is where our grandparents came from, and this is where the Polos came from.
3 hours on the bus. That's where we are.
3 hours?
3 hours.
It's a 7-hour trip. Oh, and they're boarding already.
Let's go.
We were excited not just because of the Marco Polo connection here, but also because we're fans of Game of Thrones. And many of the scenes were filmed here in Croatia. Sibenik was the background for some of the sets in Bravos. Here we are in Zadar, finally, after how many beers and how many hours on the bus?
4.5.
And how many beers?
Not enough beers. My feet are swollen right now. I can't move them. I have cankles.
Yeah, and there's no toilet on the bus.
No, and you get a 10-minute break and they are on time. So you run in, do it, make sure you have paper.
Yeah.
Marco Polo was a descendant of an old Dalmatian family with roots going back to Sibenik. The family moved to Venice in the 11th century.
So we have entered Sibenik, and it's way bigger than I thought it would be. Like we're just on the outskirts of it, and I probably started a few minutes ago, right?
My sister is adamant on one rule, and that is that when we arrive, we don't look like tourists. We blend in.
We try to make it discreet.
Yeah. We look like alchemists. Where are we? Sibenik. Where are we going? We don't know.
No. Because did we make any reservations? No. Did we Google map anything? No.
Well, we found that the free Wi-Fi didn't work very well. Basically, we couldn't even do any searching. So it was the old-fashioned way, walking the strip.
And we're too tired to move anymore. I'm like totally done. Totally done. About 2 hours ago, you and I were walking this boardwalk. Everybody in that bar was looking and laughing at us.
Carrying our suitcases like a bunch of nincompoofs, down there looking for a hotel.
Yes.
And then by sheer coincidence, we stopped at the visitor center where happens to be a lady who has an apartment, and she took us there, and there we are. Yahoo! It's domestic. Cheers. Yay!
Sibenik is a beautiful historic city located in central Dalmatia. The cool thing about it is that it's the oldest city on the shores of the ocean that's actually established by the Croats. In most of its history, it was under the Republic of Venice.
Are you ready to explore?
I am.
You can't miss St. Michael's Fortress. It towers above the old town. It has a noble past with 11th century kings playing here. Material has been found here dating back from prehistoric time.
You can just see the Polo brothers coming out and visiting here in their robes.
They also would have looked down and seen this amazing bay, but with a few less buildings, of course.
If only these walls could talk, the stories they could tell. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me
Couldn't
your
resist
ears.
taking advantage of the stage they have.
So we're entering the Cempresi cemetery in Sibenik, and apparently it's beautiful there, and you can see the whole city from there.
The historic cemetery is located just beside Michael's fortress, so easy to get to.
So after climbing all the way up, we get to climb all the way down. Come on.
It was time to explore Old Town and see where these narrow streets would take us.
So you don't want to be doing this after a few beers?
No,
Really? You
definitely not. In the streets, upon side streets, upon side streets. A good thing they have some sort of a signage here. We would be totally lost.
We are lost.
We are lost.
It doesn't really
Sometimes
matter.
getting lost is half the fun.
We're going down. That's what matters. Just all the way down.
No, I think it's this
Yeah, I think it's that way too. I think we got lost again. Well, it's difficult to tell.
And then we
I
stumbled
think it's
across this
That way
beauty,
somewhere.
a little oasis
Yeah, I don't know, just
in the
go down
middle
there.
of Old Town.
anything else.
This is where they would film the Garden of St. Lawrence.
The garden is tucked away at St. Lawrence Monastery. It's beautiful. It features fruit trees and herbs that you would find in a traditional garden of that era. This garden was forgotten for almost 100 years. Then it was renovated and opened in 2007. It's rare because it's the only medieval garden in Croatia. Okay, Game of Thrones fans, you gotta be watching and saying, I know this. Welcome to Bravos. Welcome to the Temple of the God of Many Faces. This is also a historic building. Cathedral of St. James in Sibenik. On the 30th of November 2000, the World Heritage Committee inscribed the Cathedral of St. James on its World Heritage List. The Renaissance Gothic building is made up entirely of interlocking stones, one of the only examples of this kind of construction.
Sadly, we can't take photos, so I'm going to put my camera away. We are right here. That's the cathedral. We were.
But we weren't done yet. We still had 24 more historic churches to visit, and we were going to try to do as many as we could.
So many stairs, so many narrow streets, and it's all up and down, all up and down.
It was fun following our map and trying to find all the churches. The oldest church dated back to the 11th century. This is where the Polos would have worshipped.
Old remnants of a church.
Sibenik isn't just a place of churches and monuments and history. It's also a vibrant city full of restaurants, cafes, bars, and excellent seafood.
So the soup is awesome. It's white fish with rice. And these are from the Mediterranean. It's not very big mussel. I think I got a little one there. Oh wait, there's a bigger one here. And here we have green noodles with prawns. I've died and gone to heaven.
We enjoyed the shops, especially vendors.
So what are we getting? Breakfast?
Yeah.
In Croatia, they still use kunas for currency and haven't switched yet over to the euros. This was leaving us a little bit confused, but ADRIANE jumped right in there and negotiated with all the farmers to get the best deal possible.
Where is that from? Is it from here?
Having switched from Canadian dollars to euros and then to kunas, we were having a little bit of difficulty trying to do the math.
And some people numb their pain of having to shop.
Sibenik is known for its prosciutto, and we were going to get ourselves some.
It's cheese time. Say cheese.
Ooh, cheese!
Armed with our goodies, we headed back to our €25 a night apartment.
We've got some Polish homemade cheese and some prosciutto, fresh strawberries, radish, cucumber, and some olives. And that's just breakfast.
World. Okay, so I paid 250 kunas for like 3 slices of cheese and 3 slices of pancetta.
Yes,
Well, because I did not know the prices.
you know what? Maybe it just goes by weight because they wouldn't separate their weight, and it's so much a kilogram, and you didn't take the whole kilograms. Anyway, the point is that we're sitting here waiting for food because we could not resist this. So we're leaving Sibenik tomorrow, and it's been an amazing time here. It's been 2 days, and it's been not enough time, of course, like always. We really enjoyed the old city center and the ocean. As you can see, just makes me want to jump right in.
But you're not going to.
Well,
we don't have our bathing suit
on. Dalmatian wine glasses.
Yeah, a couple of more of that beautiful Dalmatian wine, and we're jumping in.
Join us as we visit Dubrovnik and visit the heart of Game of Thrones country. Goodbye, Sibenik. In my heart, I know I'll be back.
Wanna go sailing?
Dylan, you're killing me. Stop. Just shove it back up, please. Adrian. I think this might be a sign from above.